In all of my work, a lot of what comes up thematically is how what is labeled as traumatic or dysfunctional in the Western world is often normalized for so many of us. This is something that came up a lot in my work training to be a therapist. The first time I really worked with clients one-on-one, and corporal punishment or different forms of discipline that were normalized in childhood were something that would come up in a lot of my conversations with mentors and supervisors. And I will create an entirely different video about that because I have a lot to say on that. But I do want to share that one of the things that I think a lot of the training and the Western messaging gets wrong is that there isn't just one way to be healthy. There isn't one way for a family system to function. And also, the things that are labeled as traumatic and dysfunctional aren't always perceived as such by those experiencing it. Now, I obviously say that with the caveat that abuse is abuse. Abuse under the guise of love is still abuse. But for in this video, when this woman is talking about how this white therapist started crying when she was talking about getting slapped as a child, that makes me really sad for this woman and for other clients who are seeking out therapy to talk about this for the first time and then get that reaction. Because for me, while it's one thing for a therapist to cry with the client about something, to sit with the client in their feelings, it's another to center their feelings around what the client experienced. And that's what I feel like this therapist did. Often children of immigrants who are going to therapy to talk about their childhood are doing so for the first time and will often feel a lot of guilt and shame for even talking poorly about their family. So I wanted to read a small passage from my book about dysfunction in family systems. Dysfunction is how you define the impact of your family dynamics on yourself. But as I have come to observe in my work with children of immigrants, some of the most common forms of dysfunction in immigrant families are rigidity, clearly defined or differentiated hierarchies, hypercriticism, corporal punishment, emotional neglect. In fact, when I listed these in an Instagram poll, 91% of 6,007 children of immigrants said that they were raised to include one of these dynamics. This book is all